Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of Fast Sketching Croquis vite fait. And for this session I choose to draw on the Kraft paper. Kraft paper is quite interesting surface. It allows you when you draw with black and white medium, it allows you to draw much more faster and much more nice drawings where you really can emphasize the lighter parts and the darker parts of the dimensional shapes of the body or any other kind of shapes. Is very good for portraitures, for any kind of action drawing. And the principle is, as I mentioned, you need to use two pencils, black, not graphite, but black. You can draw with charcoal, you can draw with polychrome or any other good pencils which doesn't. Charcoal I wouldn't suggest because it's going to make the drawing dirty, and even if you put the varnish on top of it, it's still going to smudge and everything. So it's not the best medium for craft paper, but it's up to you, your personal preferences. First we start with very light shades. You plan, of course, very light contours. When you just first plan approximately, you know the form, what you're going to draw, and soon as you're going to have the first kind of approximate sketching of the contours, you will review the contours and emphasize some certain, modulate a little bit the contours, where it's darker, push a little bit darker. Look how the light is actually creates the shades on the body. So when you have part of the arm and legs, whatever is the part you're drawing on, and is, look where is the darker part, and then you can kind of emphasize this darker contour much more stronger. And once you have this done, of course you can start applying the first kind of shades, shadows, and look where you have the darker parts, then you have the lighter. But first you just plan approximately how it looks. Don't rush, don't push too much any black yet. You just simply kind of try to compose, try to search for the shadows, how they go and everything. The intensity you're going to have always time after to emphasize, make it stronger, whatever. But first, to just approximately, when you see parts of the body and shadow, you apply gently first, and you go like this with entire body. And when you finish the first application, you think also when you apply this first shades that you're going to put eventually also the light. Okay, the white medium you're going to use for actually showing where is the lighter parts of the body, and that's how we're going to create a kind of three-dimensional effects. The good thing about the craft paper is that you can actually, with drawing on this paper, you economize plenty of time and get beautiful drawings. If you spend some time really, and you can do beautiful things. And the shades, if you spend some time on it as well, gonna give you really super hyper, almost realistic effects within very short time. And another good thing about craft paper is, and when you take pictures after of your drawing, you don't have to almost do any kind of adjustments. The pictures most of the time come without any regulations, nothing. You have beautiful picture of your drawing. Meanwhile, on the white paper, whatever you do, you need to really play with the white, so you have the same white balance everywhere, the same intensity, everything. And whoever works on computer and graphics, they know very well what I'm talking about. So once, as I said, you finish the darker clarification of the shades very gently first, you think also about where is going to be the white, because the way you work on craft paper is that from the part of the light, you go to the paper, and from the paper slowly, you emphasize the dark, and you get to the very dark part. So basically, if you look at the finalized drawing on the craft paper, whenever you have the white spots, that would be left paper if you would draw on the white paper. So the paper itself, it serves like kind of half tones, but they regulated the intensity of the half tones, and the details of the half tones depend how much strong you add either black or white. But try to avoid contact with one and the other, because if you contact with the black, you're going to have very dirty kind of shades, and most of the time you should actually leave a little bit the paper area between those two colors, because that's what give you very nice clean drawings and full of light and shades and three-dimensional forms. So be careful as you do this, and if you, when you start applying the white, the light, the reflections of the body, the lighter parts, also try to do it first very light, and when you already feel better the form, you can, after apply it, you can really look where is the lighter parts really, and the lighter parts you can emphasize much more, and the same you can do also after with the black. When you finish everything and you look if you need somewhere emphasize a little bit much more darker parts, you do it that after. So don't rush when you draw on craft paper. It's very sympathetic, very great surface to draw, and the effects are really beautiful if you spend some time on it. I will draw in some next videos little much more elaborated drawings on the craft paper, so you will have a chance to see it. This is just kind of preparatory sketching for a much more elaborated drawing. So in order to take off the figure even more out, you can apply either black or white behind the figure. So in both cases you will just emphasize the dimensionality of the form and everything. So this is really great paper to work with, and just buy the good one and the real craft, because the real craft you will very fast recognize is much more darker. The surface is not like very light. So this is actually otherwise it kind of looks like packing paper, for packaging. You can buy also in the roll or something, in Post Canada they have, or any kind of post office, they selling this kind of papers. You can use it. You can use it for the boxes paper, any kind of this kind of color papers is great. So I really strongly advise you to try this kind of sketching, and play just with the light and with the dark, and the paper is going to do all this kind of halftones for you. But the nuances of the halftones, you have to do it by either applying slightly or strongly black, or slightly or strongly white. So you will, I'm sure you will like it. It takes some time, but at the same time it's worth it to spend some time to practice this technique, because it would save you a lot of time in sketching of whatever you do, and the effect's gonna be really, to me, it's much more interesting to draw on craft papers and on any kind of white paper. So I wish you good luck with the practice, and I'm looking forward to see you on the next video. Bye.